Trump is now publicly claiming that he wants the Epstein files to come out, which is obviously not true. And they're gonna vote this week to release them anyway. But the thing is, one of the Republicans who's making that happen, Thomas Massie, he has a theory as to one of the reasons Donald Trump is suddenly flip-flopping on this and why it may not mean what it seems like it means. Here is Thomas Massie, or actually, Thomas Massie is talking about the, basically the idea is that they've now got this investigation and that's going to provide an excuse for them to not release the files or whatever. So here is Trump responding to Thomas Massie's discharge petition. Oh no, okay, we do. Okay, I apologize. I'm all over the place, Mike. I misread it. Play a shot.
I think we could have a deluge of Republicans. There could be 100 or more. I'm hoping to get a veto-proof majority on this legislation when it comes up for a vote. And, the president's been saying this is a hoax. He's been saying that for months. Well, he's just now decided to investigate a hoax, if it's a hoax. And I have another concern about these investigations that he's announced. If they have ongoing investigations in certain areas, those documents can't be released. So this might be a big smokescreen, these investigations, to open a bunch of them as a last-ditch effort to prevent the release of the Epstein files.
See, we got there in the end. I think that's a really great theory by Thomas Massie that now they're doing this investigation after saying there's no reason to investigate and only going after the Democrats. So now that's lurking in the background. Yeah, go release the files, and then they'll pass it. There will be the request for the files, and then it's not going to be Donald Trump that says they actually can't release them. Pam Bondi or Dan Bongino or Kash Patel are going to come out and be like, oh, our hands are tied. Donald Trump desperately wants transparency, but what are you going to do? Now we can't get it. That's what it feels like, Jayar. What do you think?
100%. I think that's pretty clear that what this is. They've had multiple staff and strategy meetings on how they're going to avoid releasing the Epstein files for this entire year. Do you think they haven't thought of any of these other kind of ways? During this government shutdown, they were like, okay, so at some point things have to get back into order. And then once the government does reopen, we got to find some way to delay this again. Look how quickly the new delay tactic potentially is going to go that way. That is if Thomas Massie is right. But by the way, this whole investigating thing and the reasons why they won't be able to release it, that's been the strategy. Oddly, it also answers the question that all these Republicans and Donald Trump himself have been floating, saying, you know what, if there was really something in there, Joe Biden, his DOJ would have released all that information before to hurt me before the election anyway. But the reason why that they didn't, in case they were asking that question like Stephen A. Smith did as well, is because there was an ongoing investigation. So them doing this to avoid releasing it actually answers the question that they keep asking about Joe Biden not releasing it because there was an ongoing investigation, but they don't think enough people will think that far ahead and realize how much BS is layered all over the place.
Yeah, look, I think I understand why people would be confused about this entire process. It has been very complicated, and there's potentially some overlapping reasons why some Democrats and some Republicans would have never wanted this to come out. There's also some different reasons why maybe some Republicans don't want it to come out, some Democrats, individual Republicans like Donald Trump. It's a big old complicated Venn diagram of cover up. But the important thing is that it feels like we're finally getting to the point where maybe some of this can come out. We just have to be ready, as Jayar was saying earlier, you have to remember the lie later on. When they come back and say, oopsie doopsie, we can't release the files now because we have this investigation, just remember who set that up and why.